Welcome to the Audiences section, where visitor profile data is stored, organized, and maintained using three main sections: segments, profiles, and properties. Today, let's focus on segments, and we'll cover three things: when to use dynamic versus static segments, what is audience sync, and number three, where are segments used within the app? So let's get started. When you're creating a segment, it's helpful to know whether you want users to flow in and out based on behavioral conditions, or you want a set list of customers or visitors to your site to form your segment. And that's going to inform whether you create a dynamic or a static segment. Dynamic being the former, where users can flow in and out based on their behaviors, and static segments, which are a specific list of visitors. Let's start with dynamic. We'll give it a name like customers, and we'll be brought to this page where we can build the segment from our profiles. And in order to do that, we'll have to use conditions. And these conditions might range from events and audiences, such as what is a profile property about them. We could do something along the lines of their email address is known, like this. This could be a segment. Or we could say they're a customer, commerce, and purchase total is greater than 0 in their last session or in any session. Let's do that. So we'll save that. And then in the case where you have this connected to a store with real orders happening, you'll see a list of profiles forming here. Now, creating a static segment is a bit different. If you want to create a static segment, you can say here, you can say something like birthdays in April, and you can create that segment, and you'll still see filter conditions, and you can add profiles either by selecting them or using the filter conditions to show. But the important distinction here is that you're not creating a segment from these conditions. You're creating a filter to then show profiles to select and add to your segment, like so. And by definition, this list does not change. Let's move into our second point. What is audience sync? You might notice that these two buttons down here that connect to Google Ads and Facebook Ads are present in both static and dynamic segments. If you recall from our website settings, you can connect Google and Facebook as apps in the apps section, which can then be used for any of your segments to drive contact information to the Google Ads network or to the Facebook Ads network or the business manager. So you can set up audience sync like so, and you can create or find one of your existing audiences like this and select audience like so. Let's go ahead and select that, and let's sync audience. So now this static segment will sync all contact information back to Google Ads, to my Justuno account and to my test list, and it will bring that contact information over to Google Ads for retargeting. And you can see that once I've set it up, I can add, edit, or otherwise manage the audience sync setup. Now, a note about audience sync: it will work a lot better with dynamic segments. A very popular dynamic segment to set up will be email address is known. And so once that email address is known, you can sync that segment with Google Ads so that those email contacts can flow into customer lists and be used for retargeting, therefore increasing ROAS. Moving on to point 3, where can segments be used in the app? At this point, you can manage your segments here. You can see default segments that will be dropped into your account for you. You can use them mainly in the workflow as a means of targeting or updating segments. If you want to manually add someone to a static segment, for example, you might go into the workflow builder, edit it, and at the bottom of an if-then branch, or just at the bottom of anything, you may decide you want to update a segment, either adding to or removing a segment. Add to my birthdays in April. Maybe this workflow is scheduled to only run in April, and therefore anybody that hits this point in the workflow will be added to this static segment that is also connected to Google Ads. That is where you will find the use for segments now. And in near iterations, we'll have use cases where you can pull segments into analytics. And that's a brief overview of segments.